Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Uh, so today we're gonna be reading more SCP stuff. Actually, I streamed this last week too, and honestly, I'm surprised I'm actually able to keep up the schedule. And well, you know how it is. Hey Reaper, what's up? How you doing, man? You having a good day? Are you having a good day? By golly, I hope you're having a good day. That goes for everyone. Ow, I am getting a headache. Oof, ow. This might not be a very long stream. Just so you guys know. Maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. So, yeah. I need to find some music that's not this. Let's see. Oh. Hey. Reaper, sorry, I guess I was talking to you while you weren't here. I asked you if you're having a good day, Reaper. Are you having a good day? Let's see if we can find some good background music. There we go. Let's loop that. Oh, yes, I am. Good. Very, very good. Maybe I should make this an ASMR stream. Just get real intimate with a microphone. Today we are reading articles from the SCP Wiki. I hope you all are ready to uncover the secrets of Scotch tape, and the existence of God. Or in our case, a cosmic entity that lives just beyond the bounds of the solar system. Let's see. There it is. There it is. All right. So to start us off, like usual, I'm gonna pick a random one. SCP-181. Item number SCP-181. Object class safe. All this is marked out. Special containment procedures. SCP-181 lives in the Class D personnel dormitories on Bio Research Area 12. SCP-181 is, for all intents and purposes, a Level 0 clearance personnel, knowing vaguely the nature of the SCP without any sensitive information having been revealed. Researchers and surveillance staff are reminded to not single SCP-181 out of his Class D group. SCP-181 is to be rotated to a new dorm once a month, instead of regulation Class D termination. SCP-181 is not to be submitted to any new or Keter classified SCP testing sessions. Oh, I also need to do this. Before I forget, I need to pop out the chat. Gotta pop out the chat. There we go. I can actually see it. There we go. Memo to all staff. In light of recent discoveries, SCP-181's anomalous properties, 181 has been transferred to Site-27 and placed in solitary confinement. All staff are ordered to take the fullest possible precautions when operating within the site. 181 is not to be allowed interaction with the site personnel beyond the bare minimum to ensure survival and security. Dr. Knucklebone. Description: redacted. Formerly LVD-87465, had been incarcerated for repeated offenses of defrauding the Nevada Gaming Commission. Following the 18th month of his life sentence, he was quietly moved to Armed Reliquary Containment Area 02, where he was initiated and assigned a Level D clearance. Sorry if you hear my dogs barking. His first exposure experiment was with SCP redacted, and the results were bloody but expected. When LVD-65468 was exposed to SCP redacted, he rampaged and killed those in the room, but SCP-181 was spared when an armed response team put down LVD-65468. SCP-181 was included into an experiment with SCP-075, the week following the incident with SCP-redacted. It was during this test that SCP-181's unnatural effect on probability was discovered. When placed in the containment chamber with an activated 075 to measure its speed and reflex time, 181 managed to avoid 075 a total of 3 times before suppression teams refroze 075. Which one's 075? What the fuck is this? Large snail in length, with a muscular foot resembling a 6-finger claw hand, exceptionally heavy with a mass of 106 kilograms. When not desiccated, 075 moves at incredible speeds for its size and mass. It adopts the behavior of a predator, jumping at and drenching its prey in a highly caustic base solution secreted from pores on its foot. These secretions are more corrosive than any substance known to terrestrial science. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so it avoided a giant fucking snail, basically. Let's see. Having survived not one, but 2 Keter-class exposure experiments, SCP-181 was a statistical anomaly. It would be his 3rd week and 7 full days of survival with SCP-082 that prompted Dr. Blank Blank, redacted, to investigate. Which one's 082? The genetically human, however, through some process of the chemical hormonal cancers for some reason, has grown giant proportions, approximately 2. Grossly disproportional, with a slightly pointed, balding head, a large, rounded chin and jaw, bulbous nose, and dark, sunken eyes. The subject is both overweight and possesses a great amount of muscular mass. Forearms are muscular and dangerous, with a circumference of about 71 centimeters. Breadth. Which one is this guy? Refers to himself as Fernand, and speaks fluent French. Incapable of differentiating fact from fiction. However, visiting personnel should be aware of that in a moment. 082 is capable of attacking and voraciously eating others. Huh. Okay. Strange. The lucky guy. Yeah, it seems like it. It was Dr. Redacted hypothesis that 181 was generating these statistical anomalies without his knowledge. After nearly flipping 50 heads on a coin, rolling 25 sevens on a pair of dice, and rolling all 13 hearts out of a standard deck, pulling all 13 hearts out of a standard deck of playing cards, the doctor got executive permission to experiment with SCP Redacted. After rolling 19 green circles and succeeding in recreating 4 classical masterpieces of varying art forms, 181 rolled SCP Redacted again. As the object came to rest on the red triangle, The facility experienced a tremor caused by an incident with 216. Which one's 216? A safe. Interesting. A safe with a bunch of stuff. An SCP redacted fell in a green circle. The doctor then reclassified 87465 as SCP-181, sparing him from the routine monthly termination of Class D personnel. 181 shows signs of affecting the causal probability around him by no will of his own. However, tests show that efforts to remove as much chance from an event as possible reduce 181's effect on the event. Addendum. 181 has been transferred and security protocols tightened. It was discovered by Dr. Redacted in a recent audit that overall death and injury rates for Bioresearch Area 12 had increased in the time of SCP-181's confinement by nearly redacted %. It is theorized that 181's anomalous properties affect probability by data expunged. Chaos theory states that the potential effects of such interference could lead data expunged, worldwide scale. Further information is available only to personnel with clearance levels 4 and above, due to the possibility of further redacted. Fascinating. Let's do another one, I guess. 458. Item number SCP-458. Object class, safe. This one's not that long either. Special containment procedures. SCP-458. Oh wait, my music stopped. Did it stop? No, it's looping. So sorry if you heard my fucking desktop. I have a fucking Dark Souls 3 desktop from like the background generator thing. And it plays the music from Dark Souls 3 sometimes. He takes the luck of others but makes them unlucky. Oh, I see. That's fucked up. That's interesting. That's interesting. That would suck. To be around this guy, this motherfucker who like makes you unlucky. Dude, that would blow. Special containment procedures. SCP-458 is considered safe and therefore is to be stored in the staff canteen at Site-17, with no access restrictions required. Description. SCP-458 is a large-sized pizza box from the pizza chain Little Caesars. Fuck yes, dude. Of their hot and ready variety. A hot and ready Little Caesars? Is this going to be like an infinite pizza? It is made of simple cardboard, measures 20... and weighs about 20 to 20.49 grams, depending on toppings. As a result of the unusual nature of SCP-458, measurement of weight is inconsistent. What makes SCP-458 an oddity is that, while appearing to be an ordinary pizza box, when it comes into contact with human hands, it instantaneously replicates within it the holder's subconsciously preferred choice of pizza, down to the favorite sauce, cheese, crust, and topping. This is the best SCP in the fucking world. It is not limited to the Little Caesars brand, as pizza from all major pizza chains as well as local and even handmade pizzas have been produced. There seems to be no limit to its ability, except that it cannot make anything but pizza, and its toppings must be edible by normal human standards. See Addendum 1A. The box is also rather indestructible, as all tests to destroy or dismantle the box have proven fruitless. It is assumed the box is semi-sentient, having at least enough telepathic or empathetic ability to sense the holder's personal choices regarding pizza. To sense what the holder's personal choices regarding pizza are. Okay. After constant testing, showed SCP-458 seemingly infinite power to generate pizza, but with little other use. It has henceforth been placed inside the canteen at Site-17 for free use by personnel. After its open usage has been allowed, personnel morale has shown to have sharply increased. You better fucking believe it. Addendum 1A. Upon testing SCP-458 with SCP redacted, the subject took a bite of the slice, which appeared to be a garlic-free slice of sausage and olive pizza on wheat crust. This was met with a response, "It's a fine slice, but I would have preferred a rather different sauce." It was inferred that the box cannot use substances that are indigestible by regular human bodies. Further testing confirmed this. Addendum 1B, please see document 458. Okay, 1A. Document 458-1A. I would just like to remind all staff that just because we have a pizza box that can constantly create pizzas for you, does not mean that you can sit around and eat pizza all afternoon. If continued abuse of the box continues, coupled with reports of personnel gaining unhealthy amounts of weight, I may be forced to implement a mandatory physical training regimen following lunch hours. Dr. Del Marino. For simple curiosity's sake, and to perhaps get a better idea of the mindset of certain SCPs, I have compiled a list of sentient SCPs' reaction when holding the box. Interesting. SCP-040. Small, extra cheese stuffed crust. Which one's this one? Anomalous human. Human child capable of at-will manipulation of physical characteristics of living organisms. Okay, interesting. 056. Medium sliced bell peppers, thin crust Alfredo sauce. A being of variable size, gender, and appearance with changes in response to the environment around it, especially in regards to the... It's a handsome man in his middle 20s, dressed in a garb similar appearance to that of personnel guarding it, but of a higher quality and aesthetic value. Okay, it's Shapeshifter. 073. Medium feta and jack cheese, no sauce, thin crust. Almost immediately after opening SCP-458, the produced pizza began to go through symptoms similar to other organic material within 073's effect radius. Experiment was retried with the pizza being removed from 458 immediately after its opening, with minor deterioration present. When queried by researchers, 073 stated it had never ingested products created by this SCP. Which one's 073? Heavily tanned male of Arabic or Middle Eastern descent in his early 30s. Cain. Genial to always speak to it, although it has been scrapped. Okay. 073's present is inimical to any kind of life grown in soil, causing death to any such life within a 20-meter radius. Interesting. Hey, what's up, Big Easy Gaming? Now read Bill Clinton's apology speech. I don't know. I don't want to get taken down. I don't want to get taken down. Let's see. 0762. Large meatballs, pepperoni, bacon, Canadian bacon, sausage, hamburger, thick crust. Damn. Meat lover right here. Which one's this one? Two components. Stone cube, human entity contained within the cube. Interesting. A lean Semitic human male in his late 20s. Hair is black and eyes are gray. Skin tone olive. However, will reawaken, in fact, reanimating complete with all. Okay, interesting. Just getting an idea of what these guys' pizza preparation is. SCP-343, God. Oh, that's in the title. I gotta read about that one. Oh, 343 is right here. Large, almost every topping imaginable with over 100 distinct foods identified. We'll save this one to read later. I want to read that one next. 105, small olives, wheat crust, thin. Large pepperoni, thick crust. Small onions, anchovies, olives, thin crust. Let's see if there's anything interesting. Small oregano, olives, no sauce, thin crust. After 166 ate a slice of pizza from 458, 166 complained about occasional moderate discomfort and nausea. The effects stopped after approximately 20 hours. Why is that? Why is that? European female human in its late teens with ungulate features, possessing antlers, hooked feet, and a short tail reminiscent of common reindeer. Okay. Reindeer woman. Large pepperoni sausage, marinara stuffed crust. 181 was told that this was a reward for good behavior, and that it was a lucky guess that it was his favorite type of pizza. Oh, it's the lucky guy. Marinara stuffed crust. What the hell? Who puts marinara on their crust? What the... What? 182, medium olives, mushrooms, pretzel dough crust. 3781 produced a large thin crust pizza with pesto sauce, ricotta, mushrooms, and fried mealworms. Fried mealworms. 378 itself could not activate SCP-458. Arthropod superficially resembling a deformed larval instance of Scolopendra gigantea. Giant centipede. Largely vestigial, primarily meant to assist, capable of asexual reproduction at will. Strange. Alright. Large extra cheese and pepperoni. Wet when removed from the box. What? Okay. Interesting. Medium anchovies. All instances produced identical pizzas with identically arranged toppings. Okay. Dr. Michaels. Large Hawaiian, tomato sauce, honey baked ham, pineapple, extra mozzarella cheese with Tabasco. What the fuck is wrong with you, doctor? 4504. Medium, egg, bacon, barbecue sauce base, thick crust. Now that is fucking strange. Who are you? Dennis Huang is a 35-year-old Chinese-Australian human male as a result of its use of anomalous abilities on itself. 2.64 meters tall, possessing distorted features and greatly elongated limbs. These distortions render it resistant to both kinetic impacts and extreme pain. It's missing both of its hands as a result of an encounter with 082. It can manifest two invisible hands at the ends of its arms. Their shape is proportionate to their distorted body, each palm approximately 20 centimeters in diameter. Okay. Whack. Extra large, half supreme, half pepperoni. That's interesting. POI, person of interest 3445 and 5175. Wielding 5175, POI 3445 produced large pizza with mozzarella cheese stuffed crust, barbecue sauce base, bacon bits, bacon strips, ground beef, ham, pepperoni sausage, and a dusting of crushed chili cheese Fritos. 51751 contributed teriyaki sauce. Claims to have never tasted teriyaki sauce. It emerged in a modern fusion recipe and is not traditional Japanese cuisine. Teriyaki sauce after conversation with PL135. Regularly ordered chicken teriyaki at the marketplace. Okay. Further testing on SCPs may reveal some odd characteristics about the SCPs themselves, and is suggested. Further cross-testing is permitted, but requires approval and supervision due to safety concerns. A lot of pizza. Alright, let's read about God, shall we? Let's see. Item number SCP-343. Object safe. Object class safe. Excuse me, I can't read. Special containment procedures. SCP-343 resides in a 6.1 meter by 6.1 meter room at Minimal Security Site 17. It should be brought any items it requests and visited by at least one staff member each day. Attempts to add further safety precautions or required clearances are unnecessary or impossible due to the nature of 343. See description. Description: SCP-343 is a male, seemingly raceless, humanoid in appearance, with apparent omnipotence. 343 was discovered walking the streets of Prague and detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the streets and reappear on a rooftop. 343 is detained willingly in his chamber, as containment has proved impossible. Addendum 3431. SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff here, looks like an older man, although his features are different to each observer. In my first talk with him, he claimed outright to be the creator of the universe. When I asked him to prove this, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger in his hand. When I returned for a second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished in upscale, Old English style, complete with a roaring fireplace, and seemed many times larger than it did from the exterior. 343 greatly enjoys speaking with people, and seems to have a knowledge of all topics. Visiting with 343 has become a daily event for many of the staff here, and all employees report feeling generally happier after each visit. Attempts to bar staff below Level 3 clearance have proven unsuccessful, as guards assigned to watch the room quit their posts, saying, "You know he likes company," or shrugging when questioned. Since SCP-343 has thus far been harmless, all staff have been allowed access, and somehow they all have time to meet with him for as long as they need. For now, I leave this report open as further questioning of 343 is ongoing. Dr. Beck. Warning! Security level 4 or higher needed for further access. Addendum number 3432. In regards to document 3431A, there is no relevant records available or seemingly in existence, and similarity, all records... Wait. There are no relevant records available or seemingly in existence, and similarly, all records of Dr. Redacted, ever working with 343 or Dr. Beck, are missing and presumed non-existent. All staff question about the document convey ignorance of document number 3431A and claim not to have met Dr. Redacted. In a relevant matter, Senior Officer Dr. Beck has requested a higher staff rotation to increase morale in worse-off sections. This is a very odd request and was the subject of further investigation. Other localized anomalies such as better health, greater job satisfaction, and lower fatalities in this section have led to the request being granted. This subject is now closed on orders of 05. Redacted. Addendum number 3433. Data recovered on redacted date from routine check of Dr. Redacted's network drive. Document number 3431A. Data lost. As of data expunged, visitors of 343 are to be questioned as to their intent and converse data lost. Questions pertaining to other SCP are to be put forth data lost. Orders of Dr. Redacted. Wow. Got a lot of information out of that, huh? 3431B. Data lost. Apparently my orders have gone missing. This is the last straw, Dr. Data lost. All my reports and requests to higher-ups have gone unnoticed. I will confront 343 tomorrow. Signed, Dr. Redacted. I'm guessing this doctor had like a bit of an issue with God, and God was kind of trolling him. Get trolled, old man. Alright, let's hit another random one. SCP-2050. Object class safe. A lot of safe object classes. Special containment procedures. SCP-2050 has officially been relocated to Site-118's Biological Environment Containment Zone. SCP-2050's Biological Environment Zone is to mimic a deciduous forest resembling those that can be found in the United Kingdom. The Foundation is to maintain one official envoy to SCP-2050 that can be contacted if necessary by SCP-2050. Said envoy is to remain neutral in all affairs involving SCP-2050, and is only to comment on events that directly affect the Foundation. Description: SCP-2050 is a designation for the... How the fuck do you pronounce this? Is there a pronunciation for it? Please help me out. This fucking pronunciation does not help me. I'm guessing it's Sirene. Sirene. Sure, Sirene. For the Sirene Monastic Brotherhood of Poor Fellows and Crusader Knights, a monastic knightly order mostly composed of sapient members of the Ciervus vulgaris species. Good enough, yeah. More commonly known as Red Squirrels. Although the organization claims that all righteous squirrel brethren are welcome, individual... Wait. More commonly known as Red Squirrels. All righteous squirrel brethren are welcome. Okay. Individual members of SCP-2050, currently designated as SCP-2050-11 through 1209, are equipped in armor resembling that found during the First Crusade. 1504. Alright, that'll be next. In addition, SCP-2050 members are also equipped with weapons and other equipment present during the First Crusade. 2050 instances are genetically identical to non-anomalous members of the Sidere, whatever, squirrel family. Although 2051 instances are capable of speech and demonstrate some higher functions associated with sapience. However, 2051 instances are unable to focus on complex tasks for long periods of time, and often lose interest in tasks before completion. Members of 2050 maintain that their order can trace its lineage back to the First Crusade, circa 1096 CE. 2052 maintains that 2050 was created in order to combat the influence of heresy and blasphemy. 2050 was originally housed in a stone citadel in Galloway Forest Park, Scotland. The citadel heavily resembled a citadel that was located in the region before being torn down, circa the 12th century CE. 2052 is a designation for the Grand Master of the Brotherhood, the leader of SCP-2050, currently a 4-year-old red squirrel named Grand Master Robert Dunfield, Master of the Order, Marshal of the North, and Duke of the Cyrus. SCP-2052 is identifiable by its red-plumed helmet, or plumed helmet, not red-plumed. 2053 refers to the leader of House Bushtail, a noble house of red squirrels that comprises roughly half the membership of 2050. Members of House Bushtail possess a characteristic streak of dark fur running down their dorsal side. 2053 is considered to hold de facto control over members of House Bushtail. 2053 is currently a 3-year-old red squirrel named Sir Caspar Bushtail, Duke of the Bushtail Sirene, Master of Horse and Knight of the Woodland Order. 2054 refers to the leader of House Acorn Fist, a noble house of red squirrels that comprises most of the other half of the membership of SCP-2050. Members of House Acorn Fist do not possess the fur pattern found in members of House Bushtail. 2054 is considered to hold de facto control of members of House Acorn Fist. 4 is currently a 3.5-year-old red squirrel named Sir Hugh Acorn Fist, Duke of the Acorn Fist Sirene. Lord of the Arbor, and Knight of the Leafy Order. Externally, 2050 maintains a policy of extreme hostility towards any and all members of the genus Rattus, commonly known as the rat family. 2051 instances will seek to kill any member of this genus on sight. Aside from this, 2050 currently maintains a policy of isolation, and containment of 2050 is to focus on preventing outside awareness of 2050. Internally, SCP-2050 is politically unstable. 2052 maintains little power over either house that comprises 2050. According to 2052, 2 civil wars have occurred in the past due to disagreements between the leaders of the 2 houses, leading to extreme diminishing in the number of members of 2050. Acquisition. 2050 came to the Foundation's attention when members of 2050, led by 2053, were discovered attempting to besiege a nearby city. Members of 2050 had actively attempted to seek out and kill as many rats in the area as possible. The head of these rats were discovered mounted on pikes in front of an encampment that 2050 had constructed. Hey, Goots, what's up? Blab, blab, blab. How you doing? Hey, you having a good day?
You better be.
According to members of SCP-2050, a decree by SCP-1845-1 had inspired the organization's attempt to conquer the Holy Land for the honor of the king. Good, Goots, good, I'm glad. We're reading about a Crusader Knight Order of Red Squirrels. According to members of SCP-2050, we are then. Following a joint siege with the Foundation and elements of the GOC, 2050 was convinced to surrender and enter Foundation containment, in return for a supply of food and metal. Requests by 2050 to be contained with SCP-1845 were denied. Which one's 1845? 1845 is consists of the following: a red fox, 14 muskrats, 12 ducks, 6 bald eagles, 2 deer, 3 feral cats. Animals have been intelligence. Okay, interesting. It's just a group of animals. Strange. The following documents are transcripts of incidents and conversations within SCP-2050. Okay. The following incident was observed by the official Foundation envoy when 2 members of 2050, both of House Bushtail, encountered a group of 4 lab rats that were introduced for testing purposes. Look, brother, over there! Heretics! Why, yes, I do believe you are right, good sir. Quick, draw your blade. They look rather sickly, don't they? Steel yourself, brother. They are heretics nonetheless. Into the fray, for the order! For the order! 132 and 92 proceeded to draw their weapons and attack the lab rats. The rats attempted to retaliate, but were unable to penetrate the armor. Amen, brother. Say, is that an acorn over yonder? This is so fucking dumb. My favorite SCP is 261. We'll read that one after we read 1504. Let's see. The following report of a meeting led by 2052, 2053, and 2054 has been included for its observations on SCP-2050 inner politics. Settle down, brothers, settle down. Now, the first topic of the day is the reports that I've been receiving regarding honor duels. Yes, those acorn-fisted cowards have run up and complained, have they? Dirty red lot. Oh, really, Bushtail? I heard about your silly little brother. Fell out of a tree or something of the sort. Killed by a ghost hawk? Better dead than an acorn fist. Take that back, you vagabond! I dare say, take that back this instant! Quiet! Peace, brothers, peace! We are all squirrel brethren here. Remember our true enemy, the heretics, not each other. A heretic has better manners than these uncouth acorn fist scum. No more of these low-born insults. Taste my wrath, bush-tail fiend! At this point, the meeting dissolved into a brawl within SCP-2050. Several SCP-2051 instances were injured, and 2054 was witnessed severing 2053's ear through the use of his teeth. Fascinating. An interview. The official Foundation envoy attempted to interview a member of 2050 to obtain more information surrounding the Order. What's it that you want, furless one? Hello, SCP-2051-58. Could you tell me more about your organization? The Order? We're a proud lot we are. Formed way back, generations ago. Some furless pope of yours stated that all were supposed to journey and fight the heretics. Declared that our great order was on a mission from above. And he responded to this call. Of course, you furless lot seem like you know what you're going on about. We didn't know about any furless heretics, though, so we took our only enemies, those damned rats. Fur or furless, all heretics deserve what's coming to them. I see. What religion is it that you follow? It's about, being good and whatnot. I don't know. It never occurred to me. I was told that if I kill enough heretics, I get rewarded and go to heaven. Say, do you think that there are acorns in heaven? I would know. Okay. Alright, let's find 1504. 1504. Joe Schmo. I love this guy already. I love Joe Schmo. This document was recovered from the site Redacted. Precious Document Vault. Anomalous object 1504 WGGYXJK. Item description: an unremarkable man who was not able to be harmed. Date of recovery: redacted. Location of recovery: redacted. AO-1504 is held in a standard humanoid containment cell. Missing. Current status: missing. Addendum 1504-1. Interviewed: anomalous object 1504. Interviewer: Dr. Lloyd. Forward: anomalous object 1504 is being questioned on its background. Level 3 access required. Access granted. Good thing my uncle is Mr. SCP. What is your name? I don't know. Joe something? Okay. Now what year were you born? 1982. Thank you for the year, but do you have an exact date? No, I never knew when I was born. Dr. Lloyd's nose begins to bleed. Oh, excuse me, my nose is bleeding. Dr. Lloyd left the room and returned a few minutes later. I'm sorry, that was weird. I've never been prone to random nosebleeds. It's fine. Maybe a storm is coming. I've heard the changing air pressure can make a person's nose bleed. Maybe. Do you know why you can't be hurt? The subject was silent for a few seconds and proceeded to weep. I don't really want to talk about it. That's fine. Thank you for your cooperation with today's interview. You may return to your room. Addendum 1504-2. We didn't know his true anomaly. We didn't know what he could really do. Data corrupt. Data corrupt. I guess he affects computers too. Our automatic security system began to have hiccups. A breach here, a breach there, but nothing that surprised us. But then our Keter got out. Only about half of the staff here realized it. The other half, all died. We managed to contain it. My dog messed up my phone's touchscreen. Oh no. That's not good. I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not permanently like that. We sent a request for more staff, but they never responded. Our supplies were dwindling, so we asked for more. Nothing. They didn't even acknowledge our existence. We had more breaches, more deaths, yet we never questioned these breaches or these deaths. I don't know why we didn't question those deaths. It is not. Oh man, hopefully get that sorted. Data corrupt. Earlier today we had a site-wide containment breach. All the doors open because of those hiccups I mentioned earlier. Most of the remaining staff members are dead. Those who are still alive are few and far between. We can't contain a breach of this magnitude, and the other Foundation sites will probably ignore it. They'll cite it as completely normal and ignore it. I'm going to put this in the vault, then set off on an on-site, then set off the on-site nuke. I'm already badly hurt. The blast would save more lives and it will end. If anyone ever finds this, tell my wife that I love her, and that I'm sorry for spending so much time in my job. Tell her that I said goodbye, and that I'm thinking of her as I die. Researcher Daryl Lloyd. Rip Daryl, dude. Rip Daryl, man. Note, this was handwritten on the document, presumably before it was put in the precious document vault. There are bloodstains in the document. Later analysis proved this to be Dr. Lloyd's blood. Parts of this document are unreadable due to smearing. The site blank nuclear warhead was detonated on Redacted to counteract a Class 7 containment breach. A total of blank anomalies were destroyed in the blast. Blank anomalies were recovered, and blank anomalies are missing, including 1504. Blank Foundation personnel died in site blank. This document has been updated per the new information recovered from site Redacted. Welcome back, Goots. Item number, SCP-1504. Object class, Keter. Restarted my phone. Special containment procedures. SCP-1504 is not currently contained. If any Foundation personnel see the subject, they are to contact the current project head. In the event SCP-1504 is found, it is to be brought to Area 114 and contained in a 3x3x3 meter containment chamber. 114 is the primary location for dealing with perception and sensory-based threats or entities. That's the first time I've actually used the developer option to see what the touchscreen was sensing. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that's a thing. To enter the subject's containment chamber, a total of 4 Level 3 staff members are needed. 2 staff members must remain inside the control room to remotely enact the failsafe should a containment breach occur. The failsafe consists of flooding the containment chamber and surrounding areas with halothane vapor, which has proven to be the only viable method to incapacitate SCP-1504. Extensive research has shown that SCP-1504 can be incapacitated by blunt force trauma to the head. The subject is to be kept fully confined and incapacitated at all times through the use of restraints and halothane vapor. The other staff members must release multiple locks simultaneously. A minimum of 4 guards are to be protecting them at this time. After all locks are released, 1 staff member may enter the containment chamber. The guards must be ready for a containment breach at all times. The containment chamber is open. No automatic systems may be used in Area 114. All doors and containers must be locked using simple combination locks or simple padlocks. All personnel working at 114 must have a high aptitude for parapsychology or a strong resilience to perception shifts. Description: SCP-1504 is a Caucasian male, standing at 1.95 meters tall. The subject's appearance is unremarkable, aside from a small birthmark on its right shoulder. SCP-1504's anomalous trait include its inability to be harmed or killed. All actions carried out by SCP-1504 will be perceived by surrounding individuals as being within expectations for the situation. SCP-1504 has been known to attack personnel who will then believe circumstance or their own doing has hurt them. The subject is able to affect electronic and automatic systems. SCP-1504 was brought to the attention of the Foundation because of its inability to be harmed, and was classified as an anomalous object after initial testing. The subject was held at Site Redacted in the Anomalous Object Wing of the facility. On Redacted, a site-wide facility security failure and subsequent containment breach resulted in the on-site nuclear warhead being detonated. SCP-1504 was declared missing after a search of the site did not reveal a confirmed death. A low-priority search was issued, but was soon raised to high priority after the above document was found. MTF-8-6, aka Awareness Filters, was formed to find SCP-1504. Addendum 1504-1. After being further analyzed and sent through multiple filters, it was discovered that SCP-1504's responses were different from what was previously recorded. The document has been updated to include these responses. Ooh, that's something interesting. Interviewed. SCP-1504. Interviewer, Dr. Lloyd. Forward. SCP-1504 is being questioned on its background. Dr. Lloyd. What is your name? I'm not going to tell you. You'll just ignore me. Okay. Now what year were you born? Told you. You wouldn't even notice if I punched you in the nose. Thank you for the year, but do you have an exact date? I didn't give you a fucking year. Hey! Hey! Doc, watch this! SCP got up from its seat and proceeded to physically assault Dr. Lloyd. The subject then returned to its seat. Oh, excuse me, my nose is bleeding. Dr. Lloyd left the room and returned a few minutes later. I'm sorry, that was weird. I've never been prone to random nosebleeds. It's because I fucking punched you. Maybe. Do you know why you can't be hurt? I could say anything. I could do anything. I could say that I'm going to rape and kill your wife and you wouldn't even notice. Hell, I could actually rape and kill your wife and you wouldn't notice. I'm living in a virtual hell because I can't die. I am going to step outside this room and take the guard's gun. I'm going to shoot myself with that gun and nothing, fucking nothing is going to happen. The subject appears to be in tears at this point. Do you know what it feels like to be in a room crowded with people and they all ignore you? Do you know how hellish my life is? I want to die. That's fine. Thank you for your cooperation with today's interview. You may return to your room. Wow. Wow. That's kind of fucked up. That's kind of fucked up. Poor Joe Schmo. Alright, let's find 261 now. Stop. 261. Hand-dimensional vending. Okay. Item number, SCP-261. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. Any access to SCP-261 must be approved by staff with Level 2 security clearance or higher. Any and all items dispensed by SCP-261 must be recorded, along with the amount of money entered and the amount of time elapsed between uses. Currently, SCP-261 may be used only 10 times in a 24-hour period, with no transaction exceeding the equivalent of 500 Japanese yen. Testing approved by Site Command is not under these restrictions. Items dispensed by SCP-261. Remember the breaches, were they really accidents? Apparently not. Apparently not. That's so... That is such a... That's why I love SCP. There's so many fucking weird things you can think about. And the way these are all written, it's like, okay, this is going to give me it's going to give you a bunch of informations. It's going to tell you about the SCP and why it's weird. And then it's going to give you the situations that surround it and the further implications about it. And then after you've read everything, you go back and like, oh, this is why this was happening. And you start putting all the pieces together. It's great. I love it. Items dispensed by SCP-261 should be reviewed by site health and safety officials before consumption. Failure to do so releases the Foundation from any obligation regarding negative effects. Items deemed dangerous or useful to research will be confiscated by site security, with financial compensation provided in proportion to money spent. SCP-261 appears to be a large black vending machine with no front glass panel and a small keypad on the right side. 261 was recovered in Yokohama, Japan. 261 was brought to the Foundation's attention after investigation of an urban legend about a magic vending machine that was circulating on the internet. 261 was found in a back alley behind a large shopping center, with a handwritten sign saying, "Out of order," in Japanese, taped to it. SCP-261 has no marks or identification of any kind, and no locals remember when or how it came to be in its current location. Internally, 261 appears to be a basic vending machine equipped to vend food and beverage items. After a key was made and the front door opened, no abnormal materials were found, and it was determined that SCP-261 has never actually contained any food or beverage items. The keypad, while connected and operating correctly, does not activate any of the dispensing mechanisms. When money is placed into SCP-261 and a 3-digit number is entered on the keypad, 261 will vend a random item. 261 has not accepted any currency other than yen, with rejected currency being deposited in the coin return slot. It is unknown how these items appear. However, 261 will not operate when the door is open, or when recording devices are placed inside. The number entered on the keypad has no effect on the item vended, nor has any pattern been detected. There are always some form of snack food. Items are always some sort of snack food, and typically have bright, attention-grabbing packaging. SCP-261 is capable of operating with no external power supply, but operation in the state will cause unstable vending to occur much more quickly than normal. If 261 is used several times in a short period of time, and/or large amounts of money are entered before an item is vended, 261 will start to dispense bizarre items. While still food, their suitability for human consumption is often non-existent. Log of items vended during testing phase 8. 800 yen entered for each item. Items being dispensed every 2 minutes. 261 is attached to power. Coke Zero, a can of Diet Coke, packaging in English. Cheetos, a small bag of Cheetos snack food, packaging in English. Black, a single pack of caffeinated chewing gum, packaging in Japanese. Yan, a single yan cone with peach dipping frosting, packaging in Japanese. The Meiji Seika company does not produce this flavor. Pepsi Dragon Twists, a can of Pepsi Cola with a trace of fruit flavor, packaging in English. Flavor identified as dragon fruit. PepsiCo does not produce this product. Dark Side Cola, a can with clear plastic sides, packaging in Japanese. Liquid inside is clear. When opened, liquid appears to react to the air and changes to dark black over a period of several seconds. The black coloration looks like billowing smoke and cannot be reversed. Liquid's taste described as cola with something spicy in it. Spicy. The Little Bakery 7-grain. A small tube the size of a candy bar with a green button, made of aluminum. Packaging in English. When the top is twisted off, a mass of dough is extruded. Dough contains several enzymes and bacteria that have not yet been identified. On contact with air, these cause the dough to rise and bake, killing the microbes in the process. Produces a small round loaf of bread weighing 250 grams. Taste described as good, but chewy. Lemon clams. Thick plastic baggie with a plastic tube on the side containing water and 12 clams. Packaging in Dutch. Following on-package instructions, the plastic tube was cracked like a glow stick. Liquid in the bag flashed to steam, venting from a hole that popped open the top of the bag, slightly burning one researcher. Steaming finished after 38 seconds, after which clams were found to be fully cooked and infused with a mild lemon flavor. On investigation, clams match no recorded species. Diet Ghost. A can containing an instance of SCP-2107. Packaging was in English. Testing done on this instance provided similar results to other contained instances of 2107. This marks the first time SCP-261 has vended another SCP object. Is this just a can of soda? Yeah, I guess so. Strange. Unknown. Small mesh bag filled with small, multicolored pyramids. Packaging in an unknown language. Pyramids found to be very hard and unpleasant tasting, compared to chalk in taste and consistency. When placed in hot water, pyramids open and produce strings that quickly dissolve, coloring the water the same shade as the pyramid. Water had no additional taste, but testing revealed a sharp increase in mineral, carbohydrate, and protein content, with several minerals unidentified at the present time. This content was found to be consistent with the recommended daily intake of nutrients for adult humans. Researcher ingesting the water reported stomach cramps 2 hours later, but no other effects. Unknown. Aluminum box with a small glass window on the side, and a large round button on the top. Packaging in an unknown language. Box is seamless and appears to be filled with small, round animals, covered in fur, each with 3 small paws and a single large eye. Pressing the button causes the inside of the box to rapidly become superheated, cooking the small animals alive. Muffled noises and scratching were heard for several seconds during the cooking process. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the front panel opens and gives access to the now cooked animals. Professor Kane volunteered to eat the animals, with no other researchers willing to do so. Taste described as crunchy and very spicy, with a small hint of beef. Unknown. Tall, thin aluminum can. Packaging in an unknown language. Opening the can caused a chemical reaction with the liquid inside the can. Liquid was apparently not intended for an oxygenated atmosphere and detonated violently, causing several injuries and killing 2 researchers. Testing discontinued and area cleared. Testing area observed to smell like citrus for several days. There's more? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. There is so many different... Let's just read a couple. Item description: Dark Eye. A rounded glass bottle with no external markings, save for its name written on a yellow piece of paper, taped to the exterior. Bottle was sealed by a rubber cork. Bottle contained approximately 200 milliliters of viscous black liquid. Subject expressed difficulty swallowing the substance and noted a strong taste of black licorice. Upon consumption, subject reported mild irritation in their left eye. The following day, subject's left eye was discovered to have completely vanished, having been replaced by a featureless black hole. Subject displayed significantly increased perception in dark environments, although showed extreme sensitivity to light. Okay. Pick another one. This one. Altroids. Container, which appeared to be a typical Altoids container. Approximately 9.5 centimeters in length, 6 centimeters in width, and 2 centimeters in height. D-class consumed 1 mint from container, resulting in muscle growth, which increased muscle mass 1.5 times. Subject terminated in prevention of more muscle growth. Mints confirmed to contain steroids, as well as an unidentified chemical, though the ingredient list was identical to that of a normal Altoids container. Okay. A very long page. Yeah. Holy shit, they tested the fuck out of this. Alright. I'm going to show you guys my favorite SCP. If I can find it. This one. SCP-3000. I'd like this one. I like this one. One second. All right. By order of the Overseer Council, the following file describes a Class 8 cognito-hazardous entity and is level 5 out of 3,000 classified. Unauthorized access is forbidden. Item number SCP-3000, Object Class Thamio. Look at this. ATSEC Protocol. Ooh, very scary. Special Containment Procedures. The area containing SCP-3000, currently a region of the Bay of Bengal. Roughly 300 kilometers in diameter. Is to be routinely patrolled by Foundation naval vessels. Under no circumstances are civilians allowed to attempt deep-sea exploration or diving efforts in the quarantined area. Individuals believed to have contacted SCP-3000 are to be contained, quarantined, and processed at Site-151. Individuals affected by the anomalous properties of 3000 are to be held in containment indefinitely. The Foundation submarine SCP-F Aramita is to monitor the location of the foremost section of SCP-3000, currently located within the Ganges Fan, roughly 0.7 kilometers beneath the bay. The Aramita, whatever, is tasked with carrying out the ATSEC protocol, and staffing regulations on board the vessel are subject to the guidelines of that protocol. For a full description of the ATSEC protocol, see Addendum 3002. There is currently no known cure for exposure to SCP-3000. As such, affected individuals should be contained and quarantined for further evaluation. Individuals stationed aboard the SCP-F Aramita are not permitted to leave the vessel, except for the purposes of carrying out the necessary procedures of the ATSEC protocol. Individuals who leave the vessel without proper authorization are to be considered lost. Under no circumstances should any individual interact with SCP-3000 without authorization. Description: SCP-3000 is a massive aquatic serpentine entity. I want to pass out? Okay, Goots. Good night. Good night, night. Have a good rest, please, if you're going to pass out. Staying up for hours. Yeah, I've been up for a long time, too, so I might be passing out soon as well. A massive aquatic serpentine entity, strongly resembling a giant moray eel. The full length of SCP-3000 is impossible to determine, but it's hypothesized to be between 600 and 900 kilometers. The head of SCP-3000 measures slightly 2.5 meters in diameter, and sections of the body are as large as 10 meters in diameter. SCP-3000 is typically a sedentary creature, only moving its head in response to certain stimuli or during feeding. The majority of its body is located in and around the Ganges fan, and rarely moves at all, specifically within several canyons throughout the region. SCP-3000 is typically... Oh, I fucking read that already, dumbass. SCP-3000 is carnivorous, and despite its sedentary nature, is capable of moving quickly to dispatch prey. Despite its size, it is hypothesized that 3000 does not require sustenance to maintain its biological functions. Due to this, SCP-3000's internal biology is believed to be similarly anomalous. While SCP-3000 excretes a thin layer of viscous dark gray substance, classified as Y909, through its skin as it consumes prey, the end result of its digestive processes is currently unknown. 1128 for another water horror. We'll read that one next. We'll read that one, and that will probably be the last one we do after that. So, yeah, that sounds good. SCP-3000 is a Class 8 cognitohazardous entity. Direct observation of 3000 may cause severe mental alterations in viewers. Individuals who directly observe 3000, as well as any individuals within an uncertain distance of 3000, experience inexplicable head pain, paranoia, general fear and panic, and memory loss or alteration. The following is a log from Site 151's historical records, written by Dr. Eugene Getz, about initial discoveries of SCP-3000 and the effects felt with therein. The unease was felt throughout the entire crew as we descended on that first night. Whether this was due to our uncertainty at what we would discover, or something more sinister, I would not speculate. As we continued to descend, Williams began sweating profusely when asked about it. When asked about it, he could not respond, stating that he could not... What the fuck, dude? I need a... Hold on a second. Hello? There we go. Let's zoom this when I can actually fucking read it. My eyes are killing me for some reason. I'm sleep deprived. Alright, here we go. When asked about it, he could not respond, stating that he thought he was missing something he could not deduce. As our descent continued, he began to act more and more erratically, at one point addressing myself as Darlene, and expressing uncertainty to the tasks he was assigned to handle. Similar feelings were expressed by other members of the crew, but Williams felt it the most. His mimetic resistance was by far the lowest of us all. But he was a biologist, not a mimeticist. When we finally came into contact with the entity, he began whimpering and had to be sedated. I remember him muttering the word no over and over again, as if in disbelief. He went silent after a while as we approached its head, and when I looked back at him, something had gone from his eyes. He did not even so much as blink as we made our final descent. At around 0940 hours, we first observed the head of the entity. The unease was palpable now. Several other crew members complained of feeling hazy and of being uncertain of what they were supposed to be doing. Captain Ritter, ever the man's man, wrote it all off as nitrogen intoxication and forced them to continue approaching the entity. When we were within 50 meters, the entity slowly turned to look at us. Even now, as I recall watching this thing coil around in the darkness, I can still hear Williams barking like a mad dog in the rear of the vessel, screaming and flailing, shouting about how he could see it in his head. Perkins and Harrison tried to restrain him, but he got free and smashed his face in against one of the portholes. He hit it so hard he cracked the inner layer of glass. The damage was bad enough that we had to surface. We tried to give Williams medical attention, but he was too far gone at that point. He had pulped himself against the glass, and despite the trauma, he still spoke briefly as he lay dying. Nobody recorded it. We didn't think to at the time, but I remember it well enough. He said, "There's nothing. Nothing. Nothing." By the time we had reached the surface several hours later, Williams was dead. At the time, I didn't think much about what he had said. Just the ravings of a man gone mad by the depths, I figured. I didn't know any better. But even now, I can still see the eyes of the creature. I see it hanging there in the darkness, illuminated by a light I cannot source. And I feel the lingering dread that Williams must have felt that night in the submersible, as he was overcome by whatever void that foul thing slithered out of. Yikes. Discovery. SCP-3000 was discovered in 1971, shortly after 2 Bangladeshi fishing boats and 15 fishermen were reported missing after drifting near the Indian coast. As the country of Bangladesh had only been recently established at the time and had been subject to significant political persecution on the part of Pakistan, this incident received high-profile media attention due to fears that it was a result of foreign aggression. Local coastal dispatch units could not locate the missing boats, fueling further media hysteria. Foundation researchers stationed in Calcutta, now Kolkata, drew similarities between this disappearance and another incident 2 years earlier. A thorough search, aided by Marriott Pashlik counters, revealed the location of the 2 boats, as well as an unknown, previously undiscovered mass deep below the surface of the Bay of Bengal. Further investigation by Foundation divers discovered the existence of SCP-3000. The area was quickly secured, and current containment procedures were put in place in April of 1972. The ATSAC protocol was adapted in October of 1998. Addendum 3001. Initial Contact Exploration Log. Note: the following is a transcript of audio logs taken during initial deep-sea diver contact with SCP-3000. Until this point, no Foundation diver had come within 300 meters of SCP-3000. Divers were tasked with assessing the creature and determining the source of the thick gray fluid that had been observed floating around its head. Dive team was composed of 3 members of MTF Orion 9 Kingfishers. Led by MTF-09 Alpha, launch point was through the airlock of the Foundation submarine, SCP-F Stravinsky. All divers were equipped with high-pressure suits, as well as front-facing headlamps. Additionally, a tether was connected to MTF-09 Alpha, which was then connected in a T-shape out to both Bravo and Foxtrot. Begin log. Alright, Command. We're situated in the airlock and ready to roll. Confirmed. Go ahead and sound off. Orion 9 Alpha, check. Orion 9 Bravo, check. Alright, man, we're in position about 500 meters from the head of this creature. Make sure your tethers are on good and tight. We don't want any of you getting separated up there. What's visibility like down here today, Command? Stand by. About 3 meters. So it's dark as fuck. Got it. Why are we so far out? The size of this thing is hard to comprehend, and it's wrapped up in itself in several places. We can't get too close because there's too much body there. The entity hasn't moved in about 3 weeks. At all? Affirmative. It moves slightly with the currents down here, but nothing more than that. If it weren't for the head movement that was observed by the first submersible team, we probably wouldn't know if it was alive or not. That's reassuring. Alright, tethers are tight. Flood the chamber. Confirmed. Rushing water is heard as the airlock chamber floods. No other sound is heard for several minutes. After some time, the sound of rushing water stops. You both good? I'm good. It's fucking cold. Hopefully we won't be out for long then. Turn on your lights, boys. Here we go. All members of the dive team exit the airlock. There is a low mechanical sound as the airlock door closes behind them. A muffled click sound is heard, and the Stravinsky activates its aft floodlights. Hey, Alpha, this is a bad time to ask, but I can't remember how to turn on my lamp, and... Your lamp is on, Foxtrot. What? What did you call me? Your designation, Mulaney, Foxtrot. I'm Foxtrot, boss. Hang on, what are you talking about? I don't understand what you mean by designation. It's your goddamn call sign, Bravo. What do you mean? Who's Bravo? Shit. Hang on. I was going to say something. Barry, are you still there? Stand by. Go for command. Hey, we're having a little trouble out here. I'm not sure who... we seem to have some confusion over designations, and I'm not sure where we're going. Where exactly are we? God, do you guys feel that? I've just got an awful headache. It's like needling in my brain, something. Dive team, be advised that we believe you may be experiencing some detrimental cognitive effects. Keep moving forward, and we'll give you more information as we receive it. Noted. Command, be advised that Foxtrot has a terrible headache. I think... Are we going in the right direction? We can't see out here. You are roughly 150 meters from the head of the entity, Alpha. You should be getting a visual soon. Command, I don't see anything. Where are we? Where are we? We're almost there, Alpha. Dive team, be advised. We're picking up movement from the entity on radar. Barry, I don't see anything down here. What are we supposed to be looking? All I can see is darkness. There's a chill, foul wind blowing, pushing me towards a brink I cannot see. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Command, Bravo is unresponsive. Requesting immediate cessation of mission. Wait a second. On the edge of nothingness, inches from oblivion, there's a sickness in my mind that I know I can't be cured. Beyond me is only blackness and a single pair of dark eyes. What? What are you saying? Dive team, we're gonna pull you in back immediately. We have reason to believe that... Barry, is that you? How can it be? I shoveled the dirt during your... I can hear something over there, Alpha. Your light. Get your fucking... Silence. Only silence. My consciousness coming undone. And only... Dive team, something is moving towards you. Repeat, something is moving towards you. Prepare to return to... this is shit. I can't see. How far are we from the... It's right there! It's right there! Fuck! What are you both doing? Fuck! And only the meal remains. Radio silence for 20 seconds. Alpha? Radio silence for 13 seconds. Alpha! Bravo! Foxtrot! Do any of you hear us? Unintelligible. Oh, thank God. Bravo, you need to speak up. We can't... Shh. Radio silence for 10 seconds. Something is bound up the winch between you and us. We can't... It's opening its mouth. It's so dark. There's... Where am I? What? Barry, how can it be? I shoveled dirt. Mulaney, swim, get away. There's only darkness, swim. Only. There is suddenly tension in the tether attached to Stravinsky. 09 Foxtrot's radio signal goes silent. There is the sound of a struggle through the other two radios. Foxtrot! Foxtrot! Alpha! Bravo! Talk to me! Stay calm. What happened? It ate him. Fuck, he's gone. It took him whole. God damn it, Alpha, what are you doing? Alpha? Cut the fucking goddamn tether, Alpha. It's pulling us in. Who? Fuck! Silence. Radio silence for 30 seconds. Tether attached to Stravinsky is pulled free from its moorings and disappears. Alpha, Bravo, do you copy? Radio silence for 5 seconds. Alpha, Bravo, do you copy? This is Bravo. I'm floating in the dark. I can see shapes moving through the fog, but they're hard to make out. I cut my tether. Alpha wouldn't. I think he's gone. I don't see his light anymore. Acknowledged. We're coming to... Hang on. Just let me think for a second. Cognition. This thing... It doesn't work around it. Your brain can't form thought. It hurts. It's like dying. And... Bravo, do you have eyes on the entity? It's in my head, guys. Coiled up in there like a snake. And something about it is caustic. I can see it just in front of me. It's not doing anything. It isn't moving. Just hanging there with its mouth open. I think it's finished eating. That fluid is seeping through the skin around its head about a meter back. Just looking at the stuff, it's making me... like the room is spinning. I feel nauseous. My head isn't working right. What the fuck? There's an abortion under the floorboards and another in the sea. Wait, this is wrong. That wasn't me. Who said that? I'm going to collect a sample. Hang on. Bravo, we're going to send out a crew to get you. Just hold on. Oh, no, don't do that. You have to be trained to not feel the things I'm feeling. Otherwise, it will get into you. Maybe it will anyway, who knows? It feels like the end of the world down here, fellas. My heart is really going off the charts, and I think I'm dying. I got a sample. I'll attach it to one of those little balloons and let it float up. You'll be able to get it later. Don't spend too much time around that stuff. It doesn't... Your mind, Quick, heavy breathing. Bravo? I think I'm dying. I'm dying. I know I'm dying. This is it. I just want to get away from here. You know, it occurs to me... Don't send anyone else out here. It's so dark. Bravo? Over the next half hour, the SCP-F Stravinsky attempted to approach 09 Bravo with no success. Command continued to attempt to communicate with 09 Bravo, but Bravo grew increasingly unintelligible, before eventually going completely silent. Bravo's radio stayed active over the next 3 days, and intermittent breathing could still be heard until the radio ceased functioning. Addendum 3000.2 ATSAC Protocol. This protocol dictates certain interaction with the Class 8 Cognohazardous entity SCP-3000, and as such is Level 5 classified. Preface. The following protocol was developed in conjunction with researchers from Site-29 and Site-50, as well as researchers stationed at Site-151. Some sections may have been redacted to remove material above this classification. Adherence to this protocol is required to all personnel assigned to Site-151, as well as all personnel assigned to the SPF Eremita. Abstract. The 151 Hollister ATSEC protocol has been developed and implemented to create a strategy for the management of the Y909 compound, excreted by SCP-3000. Protocol information. The Y909 compound, originally discovered by the late Dr. Adam Hollister, is a critical component in several modern and experimental amnestic compounds. Specifically, the following amnestics now contain a refined version of the Y909 compound. All this shit. Not going to read all that. The inclusion of the Y909 compound has shown a marked increase in the stability and long-term effectiveness of the aforementioned amnestics. Overall, amnestics utilizing Y909 break down 78% slower than their standard counterparts in cold storage, and 52% slower than their standard counterparts at room temperature. Additionally, individuals administered an amnestic regimen utilizing Y909 show a marked increase in suggestibility, memory clearance, and a significant decrease in additional side effects, such as nausea, vomiting, bowel distress, blurred vision, headaches, insomnia, heart damage, and others. Individuals treated with these amnestics expressed significantly fewer intrusive memories as those without Y909, with some individuals exposed to experimental compounds expressing no intrusive memories whatsoever, even at the 5 and 10-year marks. Due to the effectiveness of these treatments with the addition of Y909, the continued inclusion of this compound is essential to modern Foundation amnestic application. Reliance on the continued use of Y909 necessitates its collection for the foreseeable future, as a synthetic version of the compound has not yet been discovered. As such, this protocol dictates the way this compound is collected off of SCP-3000, and the way personnel are to interact with SCP-3000. Below is a brief framework of the procedure, and detailed information can be found in the full ATSEC brief. Members of MTF Epsilon 20, Night Fishermen, are to prepare a subject for deliverance to the feeding site. One individual D-class subject is to be administered a sedative and equipped with a high-pressure diving suit. The subject is then to be tethered to an underwater ROV within the aft airlock. The airlock is to be flooded, and the subject is to be towed by the ROV towards the feeding site. Upon reaching the feeding site, the ROV is to disconnect its tether and return to the Eremita. Throughout this stage, SPF Eremita should monitor SCP-3000's position and adjust course if the entity begins to move away from the feeding site. Mission Command will provide additional instructions during this phase if necessary. Personnel on board the SCP-F Eremita are to monitor SCP-3000 during feeding sessions. During this time, no personnel are permitted to leave Eremita without authorization from Mission Command. At a point after the total consumption of prey, SCP-3000 will begin to excrete Y909 near the foremost section of its body. Specialized teams of deep-sea divers are to exit the SCP-F Eremita through the aft airlock and approach SCP-3000. Collection of Y909 must take place during SCP-3000's digestive period, which is currently believed to be roughly 2.5 hours after consumption of prey. Teams must return to Launchcraft before the end of this period. During this period, the typical effects of SCP-3000 are less severe, though Command should continue to monitor these teams for damage to their cognition. After collection of Y909 is complete, personnel are to transfer the collected substance to secure containers before returning to the surface. The mission administrator on board the Aramita is to monitor the substance throughout transport. Addendum 3003. Psychological evaluation. Note on Redacted 09. Level 3 researcher Venkataraman Krishnamurthy attempted to exit out the Aramita's aft airlock without diving equipment, but was quickly restrained and the airlock cycle aborted. Despite having a CRV of 26 and having not displayed any previous signs of depression or suicidal attempt prior to his assignment aboard the Aramita, Krishnamurthy was interviewed by staff clinical psychologist Dr. Anand Manava to acquire a better understanding of SCP-3000's potential effect on his psyche. Hi, Venkat. How are you feeling? Unwell. That's what I hear. You want to talk about what happened today? Krishnamurthy is silent. We don't have to if you don't want to. We can talk about something else. I'm tired, Anand. I understand. This assignment has been stressful on Olive. It's not, no. It isn't the stress. I've done this before. I've been on... I don't actually know if I've done this before. You have. I don't remember it. Any of it. I've been getting these out-of-context feelings, like my body reacting to reflexes it didn't know it had. Everything is so disconnected, and trying to keep it together is... I'm just tired. When did you start feeling this way? How long have we been down here? I don't remember. I don't know when, honestly, I don't. I wish I could tell you more than that, but I have nothing. I look to that place in my mind and there's something else there. Or sometimes nothing at all. What do you mean, something else? I've been having other people's dreams, Anand. I see faces I don't recognize. Places I know I've never been. Or maybe I have. I don't know. How can I know what is real or not when I can't trust my own mind? Well, maybe I can help you with that, Venkat. We can go over things you think you've forgotten, and I can... Don't patronize me. I know you felt it or not. Your mind gets hazy. Parts of you start to slip. Your memories grow faint, fading in and out until they're gone, or worse, replaced. You see pasts that aren't yours, experiences that you've never lived. You start to become other people, or nobody at all. Venkat, please, I'm just trying to help. Do you even know my work before we met? Come to think of it, I don't remember how we met. I know your name. I know that you're a psychologist. But are we friends? Are we brothers? I don't know how I know you. We work together, I know that. I still have that, but other things that come and go. I don't know if I am married. I have children. Dr. Krishnamurthy was married twice and has 2 sons and 3 daughters between the 2 marriages. I see. And that isn't the worst of it. I know this is happening to me. I know that my mind is coming apart. There's something else in there too. Something rising out of the smoke of my smoldering consciousness. That eel. The eel. I don't remember my mother. I can hear her voice, but I can't remember her face. I can't remember how she smelled or how she... But what I do remember is she told me about gods. There is a god called Anantashesha, a serpent, the king of serpents, said to lie beneath Vishnu in the cosmos, a 6-headed snake god. Isn't that something? Yes, I am familiar. Ah, of course, I'm sorry. I forgot. I don't remember much, but I do remember that she told me about how Anantashesha would linger past the end, gaze upon the darkness past the end of time, She said that when the light of the universe had gone out, all that would be left is Anantashesha. I have worked my entire life at the Foundation. So much as I can recall, I have struggled to build my name and my reputation, and done everything I can do to leave something. Anything. Some kind of mark that says I was here, but what is it? I believe that SCP-3000 is Anantashesha. I believe that this aberration, this treachery against cognition, is a result of us being in the presence of a god. Not just a god, but a god who exists across all time, all at once, and even beyond. Maybe some part of the nothingness beyond the edge of time is a part of Anantashesha as well. Maybe it acts as a conduit, some kind of... Then, Kat, please, we're scientists. No, let me finish. In defiance of the nothingness that comes after this, all of this, there is Anantashesha. There's a chance that my memories might live on, that I might be remembered, like the memories I've seen have been through me. I don't have proof of this, but when I looked into its eyes and saw what it showed me, I was afraid. I'm merely a mediocre man, Anand. This was a fear that I have refused to acknowledge for years. A fear of irrelevance. That no one will know who I am when I die. Afraid of being forgotten. Afraid of my life being meaningless. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of dying. There is a terror within me that I cannot reconcile, Anand. I won't lie to you and tell you that the maw of the Naga does not terrify me as well. But between this and the infinite dark I have gazed into, I have made up my mind. Incident video and audio log. After 2 days of containment within a secure holding cell on board the Aramita, orders were received to lift the hold order on Dr. Krishnamurthy in accordance with the terms of the ATSEC protocol. 3 hours after Dr. Krishnamurthy was released from his holding cell, the following incident took place. Krishnamurthy stands near the entrance of the Aramita's aft airlock. Subject is facing away from nearest camera. Proximity alarm is triggered. Exterior floodlights activate. SCP-3000 is still not visible. Command is alerted and Aramita's engines engage, preparing for evasive maneuvers. Krishnamurthy is startled by a proximity alarm and begins to appear panicked. Subject continues to look at entrance to the aft airlock. Subject turns briefly towards nearest camera and is observed to be weeping. Krishnamurthy slowly approaches aft airlock and opens airlock door. Subject enters airlock and primary access door seals behind the subject. Interior airlock camera captures Krishnamurthy staring at exterior airlock door for a full 2 minutes, unmoving. After 2 minutes, subject collapses on the ground. All cameras shutter as primary turbines spin up. SCP-3000 is visible on radar, approaching SCP-F Aramita. SCP-3000 is not visible on exterior cameras. Krishnamurthy stands and approaches diving suit locker. Subject puts on a high-pressure deep-sea diving suit and then moves towards exterior door controls. Subject engages exterior door latch. Interior airlock camera is obscured by rushing water. Secondary alarm is triggered by airlock breach. Personnel on bridge attempt to close airlock, but Krishnamurthy has already exited the airlock. Krishnamurthy hangs in the water behind the aft section of the Aramita, illuminated by exterior floodlights. Subject is motionless. SCP-3000 slowly appears from out of the darkness. Krishnamurthy remains motionless. Exterior cameras shutter as Aramita begins to reverse towards Krishnamurthy. Rescue teams have assembled in the airlock chamber. SCP-3000 approaches Krishnamurthy. Its mouth begins to open. Aramita sounds horns, but neither SCP-3000 or the subject appear to notice. SCP-3000 moves to just above Krishnamurthy. Subject appears to look up into the now fully expanded jaw of SCP-3000. Aramita begins to flash external floodlights. Airlock opens. Anand, I was wrong. God save me. It's not. SCP-3000 strikes and quickly consumes Krishnamurthy. SCP-3000 disappears into the darkness and is no longer visible on exterior cameras. Rescue crews are recalled. Crew begins to initiate ATSAC protocol. End log. Addendum 5, Personal Journal of Dr. Manava. Note, the following are excerpts from the personal diaries of Dr. Anand Manava. Dr. Manava has kept several journals during his assignment and has reported that it is beneficial to counteract the psychological and memory-affecting properties of SCP-3000. Just seeing how much we got left. Okay. I come to Barry Venkat, not to praise him. Psychologically speaking, having your memories affected like his is not a pleasant experience for anyone. I really shouldn't be surprised he chose to relieve himself from having his memories meddled with. After all, it's really alarming. Being briefed on its effects doesn't change the fact that I need to constantly keep tabs on all staff, myself included, and ground us to reality. I am supposed to submit a full psychological report now, detailing what has gone wrong, why a staff member turned suicidal, and a full analysis of possible ways to prevent this from happening again in the future. To the O5 and Site Director Knox. Have it reviewed and some new regimen designed to prevent such a travesty from happening again. He always was more religious than I am. Right at the end of his life, he was riffing on Anantashesha, a primordial Hindu snake god, and rambling about eternity. I'm not going to question the legitimacy of his beliefs and his claims. I don't know if you should read 1128. SCP-3000 was long. We'll read a little bit about it. Maybe not all of it. But this is quite the enigma, and I suppose I should consider myself lucky that this assignment is relatively benign, compared to previous assignments that I've had. I don't think this is a mystical eel. Anomalous maybe, but not really that extraordinary. It's funny, I spent the last 30 years blocking out everything my father wanted to teach me about Hinduism, and now I'm racking my brains trying to remember anything he had to say about it. I want to say that it's because of the eel, but if I'm being honest with myself, I simply tried to forget all his teachings. Maybe not at the beginning, but certainly by the end. I can barely even remember what he looked like. But I do remember how angry he got when I couldn't remember the names of my grandparents or great-uncles. He was desperate to preserve his heritage, and I did everything I could to spite him. On his deathbed, he begged me to perform the traditional last rites after his death. He even wrote the instructions down. But I was so angry at him that I tore them up in front of him. I can't even remember why. The only memories I have of him are how he made me feel. He spent almost 20 years trying to pass down our heritage, and all I have now is anger and hatred and regret. Site Director Knox gathered the staff this morning for a short mourning. After a few brief and laconic eulogies, he took me aside and told me that Venkat's replacement will come in a few weeks. And as he kept no contact with his family, it's likely his belongings will just be disposed of, and are now technically Foundation property. The director indicated that if I wanted to keep a thing or two from him, I should do so now. His office was relatively unremarkable. His cushy, squashed chair cushion, few office toys, and lots of marine biology books that I should probably check out someday. The only thing I took was the statue of Ganesh that stood next to the window. Not fully sure why myself, but he's now sitting on my bookshelf, next to a picture of myself, my wife, and our daughter at a lakeside terrace. It was a pretty unremarkable trip to some tourist trap in Lucknow. But this really is one of our best looking pictures. We're going under again tomorrow. All the D-class managed to stay put this week, which is good. Other than the routine depression and memory loss from exposure to 3000, everything was in order. Sometimes I'm a bit envious of them. All they know is that they're scooping gunk off some big eel. They don't know of its importance or why it's critical that they collect it, and how much it helps us. Of course, one saving grace of being on the psychological division for the ATSEC project is the awareness of its potential effects. I'm aware of what's happening to my psyche. I know that I have memories that are being drained, pieces that are being lost right now. I recall images of a young man on a bicycle in front of a schoolyard gate, looking like it was the 80s when I was in Singapore. He was laughing, yet I don't know if this man was a friend, a lover, a son, a family friend. Who this young man is? Perhaps Italian? Maybe Australian? Maybe this isn't even a cherished memory at all. I looked at the Ganesh statue in the picture of my family again. It's really quite a shame. I truly forgot most anything that I've done with them. I started trying to learn some Hindu poems and songs. Went out and got a copy of the Vedas, but I can't memorize the lines properly. I've been reflecting on what Venkat told me before he passed, though. His deep, deep-seated fear of mediocrity. Unable to rise out of the sea of humans that walk on the face of this earth. He's worked for the Foundation for years, and while he isn't one of the most well-known and household names of the Foundation, he's not exactly obscure. He's been the Foundation's leading marine biologist and go-to expert for anything aquatic, and quite well revered. I'm actually quite surprised by his jealousy. He was never the flashy and bombastic type, and I would have never guessed that he wanted fame and recognition. Perhaps he really was afraid that he is doomed to be stuck in mediocrity. Perhaps the silence of this place reminded him of something worse. Memorandum on ATSEC brief. Some new assignments had questions about our work here, so I'm publishing this to clear most of them up. Feel free to contact my office if there are any others. The ATSEC protocol is a method for gathering and processing the Y909 compound. It's a thick, brackish gray fluid that SCP-3000 excretes as part of its metabolism. We don't know the exact method by which it does this, but we do have some ideas, and none of them are great for us. Initially, we thought it was bleeding. The first team we sent down to look at 3000 went down to collect blood samples for analysis. When 3000 attacked and consumed them and began producing more of the substance, we realized that we were looking at something different entirely. It's definitely not blood. It's more akin to a prion slurry. It's extremely toxic, and spending too much time around the stuff causes a lot of the same effects as exposure to 3000 does. Paranoia, memory loss, suicidal thoughts, etc. We're fighting the raw Y909. What the processors call eel jelly allows us to create amnestics more effective than any we've ever had access to in the history of this organization. Herein lies the ethical dilemma. 3000 only creates Y909 after eating, and it only eats humans. Remember when I said we had some ideas about how it does this? Some of our biologists have hypothesized that 3000 is breaking down whatever makes sapient creatures sapient, filtering it through some part of its skin, and the residual ether is what we collect. You want to know something really fucked up? We've taken radiographs of this thing, trying to see what's going on inside of it. It's full of dead human bodies. It's not digesting them at all. It's doing something else. And the end result is Y909. When we first started using Y909 in our amnestics program, we tried to synthesize it. We got something close to what we were looking for, Y919, but the side effects were catastrophic. The amnestics would work, we could get people to forget events, people, and so on, but then they would start to forget other things too. The mental deterioration would rapidly increase until there was nothing left, and then they would die. A few of those researchers thought we might be able to figure out how to decrease the severity of those side effects, but the cost to continue those trials would have been astronomical, and the program was discontinued. It's no secret that what we're doing here is abhorrent. The ethics community, the classification committee, they're all looking at ways to make this more tolerable than what it is. But the hard truth is, if we want to continue to use modern amnestics, we have to have Y909. If we want to have Y909, we have to feed D-Class to SCP-3000. Otherwise, we'd be forced to go back to the metaphorical Dark Ages, where we were amnesticizing people with opiates and chloroform. The good news is we're developing ROVs that should be able to take over the job of collecting the raw material from our dive teams. This will eliminate any chance of accidental casualties like we've had in the past, and it's a good first step. For everything else, only time will tell. Knox. Another personal journal of Dr. Manava. The following is the full text of a page penned to the hand of Dr. Manava, which was ripped out of a journal and placed on his nightstand. I have spent a considerable amount of time on this assignment attempting to understand the underlying effects of individuals exposed to a Class 8 cognitive hazard. I have conducted numerous personnel interviews, written a great many psychological reports, but I have not been able to properly deduce what about this creature would lead a perfectly sane man out the door of that airlock and into the maw of the eel. Earlier this week, as I was preparing my notes for another report, I accidentally knocked the picture of myself, my wife, and my daughter off of my nightstand. The glass shattered as it hit the ground, and the picture fell out. As I cleaned it up, I noticed something written on the reverse side of the image. It said, Anand, Shanti, and Padma, June 2002. But the writing was not mine. It was Venkat's. I was puzzled by this. Why would Venkat have written on the back of a picture of mine? I thought little of it at the time and cleaned up the mess and went about my day. But this question stuck with me. It was a little thing, easily explained in a number of ways, but I could not shake the notion of uncertainty. It was not until last night that a horrifying thought struck me, one that I could not sleep on. I accessed the Foundation personnel archives and realized the truth that I could not reconcile. Shanti was Venkat's first wife. Padma was his daughter. The records are clear. The life I remember, the experiences I am certain I have had with him, are the experiences and memories of Venkat, not me. I have never been married, and I have no children. Even now I can see my wife in my mind, hear her laughter, smell her hair. But I know now that it is Venkat I see her through, not me. The horror of this realization has been replaced with a queer sort of dread. I figured out what the eel does. Something about it, some latent part of its creation, abhors cognition. It breaks down human consciousness and scatters the part of us that we believe is the soul, until all that remains is what we really are. Electrical signals that will someday become inert. If even I can't remember myself, how can I expect anyone else to remember me? I have forgotten my own life, and I am strangely apathetic at this revelation. I will fade into the darkness, as thousands before me have, and thousands after me will. No one will care as I am forgotten. I do not despair for my own sake, but for us all. You and I, we will all face obliteration. I am not important. You are not important. Vast droplets of irrelevancy, stretching eons in the sea of time. We may fight against it, but our enemy is inevitability. I do not think that the eel is an Antashesha. I don't think it would matter if it was. What is clear to me now, as I feel myself coming apart, is not that the eel is some mythological creature or divine serpent. Perhaps it's just a primitive creature that eluded us, holding no malice. Perhaps it really is a primordial deity, harboring resent beneath the surface. The eel is not the harbinger of my demise, or humanity's doom. The eel is not the end of all things. It only shows us what the end looks like. And in spite of everything we might believe, every ideal we hold or providence we pray for, I know this much is true for all of us. Our end will be a forgotten one. Note: Dr. Manava was later discovered unresponsive near the aft airlock. Evidence suggested that Dr. Manava had broken into the onboard storage locker and ingested a significant amount of raw Y909. Dr. Manava was moved off the Aramita and remains at Site 151 for analysis. Damn! Okay. So, we're going to wrap up in a little bit, but I want to see what this, what 1128 is about. We're probably not going to get through most of it, but, well, it's just literally called just aquatic horror. And this is hyper-arousal response right next to it. Oh, man. But we're going to read about a little bit of this. How long is this? It's actually not that long. There's not an experiment log. What is experiment log? How long is experiment log? It's not that long. We can read this one. We can get through this. We can get through this one. Item number SCP-1128. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Written descriptions or imagery of SCP-1128's appearance or videos of the entity breaching found outside the Foundation are to be destroyed, and Class C amnestics are to be administered to anyone exposed to such information or showing signs of SCP-1128 contamination. A written description of the entity's appearance is to be kept at Site Redacted for experimental purposes only, and is not to be read by anyone other than D-Class used for testing. If exposed, staff are to report immediately for administration of Class C amnestics. Mobile Containment Force Kappa 12 has been assigned to intercept and redirect any and all water traffic that passes through their designated patrol area by any means necessary. Description: SCP-1128 is an entity that manifests as a massive aquatic predator to anyone given a full description of the being's appearance through either spoken, written descriptions, or visual depictions of the being. Massive aquatic predator. Persons infected by SCP-1128 will initially exhibit no abnormal behavior, though some cases show a general aversion to activities involving bodily immersion in water, such as bathing or swimming. Should the subject ever be fully immersed in water, they will disappear completely under the surface of the water, regardless of the water's actual depth. In most cases, subject will reappear moments later in a panicked state and frantically try to leave the water, while in some other cases, the water will become polluted with blood and debris, confirmed to be the remains of the subject. Subjects that have reappeared intact claim that they were transported to a vast ocean where they are pursued by SCP-1128. Interviews with these individuals carry some risk of further 1128 contamination, as descriptions of the being's appearance trigger further infections. 1128 infection can be treated with Class C amnestics, as it appears memory of the entity or descriptions of it are required for its anomalous properties to take effect. Wow. That's fucked up. Addendum 1. Testing with infected D-Class have shown that wireless communication devices function normally when used by submerged subjects affected by SCP-1128. Interview. I want to see this real quick. Yeah, let's check this one out real quick. Interview 1128. Forward was instructed to read from a small pamphlet describing 1128's appearance, and was outfitted with diving gear and lowered into a large tub of water via winch and cable. The D-Class's gear was outfitted with a wireless communication device to allow contact between himself and Dr. Blank, and to test if the SCP had any effect on such devices. Okay, sorry, I'm reading this way too fast. And to test if the SCP had any effect on such devices. Interview has been edited to remove hazardous information pertaining to 1128. Can you hear me? Over. I hear you, Doc. Damn, this thing is deep. It looks so tiny from the outside. How well is your reception? Over. Good enough, I guess. Kind of fuzzy, but not enough that I can't hear what you're saying. What is your current status? Right now, I'm just sinking to the bottom of... Is this the ocean? How the hell did you manage to fit an entire ocean inside a stinking bathtub? Irrelevant. D-Class, what are your surroundings? I just said ocean, damn it. There's fish and everything. Don't you guys know what the hell is inside your own... Oof. D-Class, what happened? I'm fine. I just hit bottom. Looks like I've landed on a patch of seaweed or something. What are your surroundings? Seaweed, mostly. Wait a second. It gets thinner to my right. Looks like there might be a drop-off that way. Should I go take a look? You may proceed. Okay. D-Class grunts audibly. Damn, suit's heavy. Tired of moving this thing. Hey, is this thing soundproof? My talking isn't scaring off any of you. Oh my god! D-Class, respond. What's your status? I'm okay. I don't think it saw me. Damn, I think I pissed myself. What happened? What did you see? Scariest damn thing I've ever seen. Some kind of big-ass description redacted. Wait a second, that's the thing from that stupid booklet you gave me, isn't it? Affirmative. Please refrain from describing it any further. What is it doing? Nothing right now, it's just swimming along. I think it's got something in its mouth. Is that a whale? Holy crap, it is. It's eating a whale. Oh god, look at those teeth. I think we're done here. Pull him out now. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll bring you up now. Now he swallowed it. Damn. It's gonna haunt my dreams. Wait, it stopped moving. I think it sees me. Oh god. It's looking at me. It's headed this way. Oh god, help me. Get him out of there now. Hysterical, spouting gibberish when feed cuts the static. Closing statement. Winch was retracting at full speed when the cable went taut, wresting the winch from its mounting. Cable then went slack, and water became polluted with blood confirmed to be that of D-Class. No further remains or equipment were recovered. Interview log and relevant documents were edited for vectors, and all staff present were treated with Class C amnestics. Damn! Energy supplement. What is this? Oh, supplement. Okay. That is so fucked up. Addendum 2. Tracking devices affixed to D-Class used in 1128 experiments reveal that submerged subjects are transported to an area within the redacted ocean, not far from the coast of redacted. Further investigation of these coordinates revealed the area to be data expunged. Mobile Containment Force Kappa 12, Sea Devils, has been assigned to keep unauthorized seafaring vessels out of this area at all costs. Note, that's where I've been sending those D-Class? How does a short-range wireless communicator get such a clear signal from that far away? Addendum 3. Tests involving D-1732, who have been used for repeated 1128 testing without administration of amnestics, was shown to be able to encounter the entity in bodies of water normally insufficient for bodily immersion. This effect became more drastic over time, with D-1732 developing progressively stronger hydrophobic tendencies, claiming to see 1128 from outside almost any body of water encountered by the subject. On blank days after exposure, D-1732 was violently pulled into a glass of water by redacted. No remains were recovered from the incident. Staff witnessing the event were found to be infected by the 1128 and administered Class C amnestics. Containment procedures were then updated to include videos and descriptions of this event, and testing involving extended infection of D-Class was terminated. Alright. Log. We read this one. D-Class exposed to 1128 and equipped with scuba gear placed into a standard protective shark cage and lowered into water. Result, no response for approximately blank seconds, and the line went taut and was severed at a point beneath the water. Remains of D-Class, as well as jagged steel fragments, presumably remnants of the cage, surfaced shortly afterward. It's from Log 3. Same as above. Cage treated with SCP blank to increase durability. Same as above. No remains surfaced. Notes. Hours later, MCF Sea Devils reported finding an intact shark cage floating beneath surface of patrol area near one of their vessels. Item was retrieved and confirmed to match description of cage using experiment A3. Cage was undamaged, but bore traces of human DNA and feces of indeterminate origin. No further remains of D-Class found. 4. Exposed D-Class equipped with diving gear and armed with redacted for use against hostile organisms. Unlike previous tests, subject was also equipped with a live feed video camera attached to his helmet. Video feed shows weapon was ineffective against level 28, appearing to only enrage the creature rather than harm it considerably or drive it away. Feed was lost when D-Class was devoured. Staff involved treated with amnestics following transcription of video feed. Exposed D-Class equipped with protective environment suit and video feed lowered into a vat of redacted. It tests 1128 manifestation in liquids other than water. Substance chosen for its low density, allowing free movement similar to walking in open air. Result: D-Class recovered without incident. Liquid did not trigger SCP-1128's effect. Okay, so you might be safe from the thing in liquids other than water. That probably won't help you much unless you intend to drink and bathe in exotic chemicals for the rest of your life, which probably would get a lot shorter if you tried that. Yep. It's a supplement. Oh, don't need this. Don't need that. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for today, guys. I think my fucking favorites are the deep sea ones, like the sea horrors. Those are awesome. So Reaper, for the next time, if you know any more fucking deep sea horror SCPs, you should definitely leave them and let me know, because I love this shit. I fucking have thalassophobia and I hate the deep sea, but dude, that shit is rad. I'm all about it. Yeah, that's going to stream today. So next stream will be Wednesday. We're going to try and finish up Max Payne 3, I think. Friday I'll probably play some more Stalker. So yeah. Have a good rest of your Sunday afternoon. Have a good Monday and Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.